All right. It's Tuesday morning, September 28th. Looks like we're live. Um, kind of a fun day yesterday for Clove. Got a little bit of green. Um, First off, apologies to everybody for I wasn't able to get on yesterday morning. I woke up early. I was ready to go. It was like 4 in the morning. Grabbed some coffee. I came and sat down here at the desk and started turning everything on. I was just too damn tired. I couldn't do it. I didn't. I sent out I don't know who got the message, but I sent a message out on the little community tab on the channel just to let everybody know there was no way I was going to be able to do it yesterday. Um, we went to the Niner game on Sunday night. Great game, by the way. Not the outcome I was looking for, but we went to the Niner game on Sunday night. And Levi Stadium isn't bad, but there's a lot of stuff that they left kind of. I don't know, like the whole traffic situation there is ridiculous. If you show up, even a little later than 2 hours, 3 hours before the game, it's taking you an hour to get into the parking lot. And when you leave, you're kind of dealing with the same thing. Like I want to say we walked out of the game at 9:15 or whatever time it was. From the car to the freeway took about an hour, and it's literally right down the street. And then from there it's like a 45-minute drive home. So I got home kind of late on Sunday night, but I don't know. I couldn't do it, but I'm up this morning. Feel good. Got my rest. I'm ready to go. So let's see here. So Michael's in the house. What's up, Michael? Nohar, what's up? Dennis D, Div by Zero. Nohar says, is Ken Griffin going to jail? The things that I've been reading recently, it seems like they're definitely going to be in some trouble. I'm typically the optimist, but with some stuff, I like to think of myself as more of a realist too. And it's like, I just have this feeling that, that guy's got so much money, they'll figure something out. Maybe some people that work for him will take the fall or whatever. For anyone who doesn't know what's going on. So, Ken Griffin is the CEO of Citadel. They're a market maker and also a hedge fund. They've got two arms, and they also run a dark pool too. And that's kind of that whole conflict of interest thing that we've been talking about on here in regards to market manipulation for a long time. And during the congressional hearings after GameStop, all the whole GameStop thing in January, when those congressional hearings happened in early February, he basically, swore under oath or whatever, that some of the stuff that's now coming out that actually happened, like communication between him or his company, I should say, and Robinhood, to actually turn off the buy button and a bunch of other things that basically he lied about. So, we're I'm interested to see how this whole thing comes out, but I don't know. I just feel like when you got that much money, there's someone that'll even be willing to step up and say that they did it. And we'll see how it goes. 6'8" Spindrift, what's up? Good morning. Michael says, how hard was it for you to pick Dallas last night in order to stay alive? Yeah. I was telling a story on the NFL thing, the No Financial Limits with Ghost last night, about how I forgot to make my picks for the survivor pool. I reminded everybody on Friday. My intention was to kind of log in and do it after we left, and I never did it. And then I remembered on the way to the Niner game, and so I asked my wife, like, "Hey, can you log in on my phone and just make a pick for me, pick the Niners?" And luckily, the password wasn't stored in my phone, and so she couldn't get on there and do it for me because I would have lost with the Niners. So then yesterday morning, it was between the Cowboys and the Eagles. and I took the Cowboys, so I'm still alive. And just looking at the real quick, let me see. So here's the survivor pool since Michael brought it up. Looks like 14 eliminated entries, but 4 people got mulligans. So 14 people were wrong this week. 4 of them, it was only their first time being wrong, so they stayed in. 10 more people were eliminated. So looks like we got 25 of us left. 6 people didn't make a pick this week. That was the elimination. The Chiefs were a big one, I guess. The Giants, the Steelers. A lot of people won with the Broncos. Cool. It's fun. I'm looking forward to continuing this, and we could even do this for March Madness or anything really once the new season start coming around. So let's see here. Noir says, did you hurt your voice? Yeah, I don't know. It's a little raspy this morning. Your pal Al, what's up? Good morning. Turts McGurts. Clover Avenue. Any comments on the issues on Reddit? Not really. I kind of, some of that stuff spilled over onto my channel a couple weeks ago, and I kind of even said it then, like I don't want to be involved in it. I've over the last, I'd say like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, talked to, a couple people, like some mods, some other people have hit me up about it, about just like everything. And I just being honest with everybody, like I don't want to be involved in the drama. I think, I don't know, just, I think we're all here to make money. And in the stock market, and specifically when I'm talking about, I see your username's Clover Avenue. Everybody knows I have a big position in Clove, and a lot of the other people being mentioned do as well. I think we're all here to invest and make money, and that's what it should be about. But on the same token, I will say this too. I do think that a lot of what Degenerate's mad about, there's truth behind it, and it's understandable why he's frustrated about some of this stuff, and I'll just leave it at that. Pete, what's up? Good morning. Holiday Option says coffee time. Let's get it. Sir Lucky Charms, what's up? Julio, KLF, your pal Al says I'm back in the saddle again. Let's see. Kamal. Kimster, good morning. Junior Wills, what's going on? So, yeah, yesterday was actually, quite a good day for Clove. It's hard to get excited about. We're trading down here in this, still in this $8 zone. So, while yesterday was like a 5% day, nice run up. This is like really beautiful price action. It's just hard to get excited about it when we're still trading in this $8 range. I don't think I'm really going to get excited until I see us, cracking 12 and continuing to move up. But, still nice to see some green. And I do think that the reversal is going to be coming soon. We've been trading for so long down in this area, that it's just a matter of time. There was that Aaliyah Capital call. I don't know when exactly it was, because there wasn't a lot of information about it, but I think that could potentially, introduce this opportunity to other investors that could help. I know Al Trades was talking about some analyst ratings that he thinks is coming up pretty soon, and there's been more institutional buys. We were talking about that last night on the NFL show. There's a lot of continuously, positive, bullish news surrounding this stock, and I just think it's a matter of time before it'll, it's going to reverse its trend, and we'll all be happy and celebrating and move our money on to some other stuff, or continue on with Clove, because I do see this as a triple digit stock at one point too. Yeah, Pete, I agree with you too. So it's got a strong feeling that the Aaliyah meeting went on as planned, and hopefully that results in new institutions. You just and I agree too. I just don't know that we would ever hear anything about it, because this was something that, like, imagine like a hedge fund, or someone who's managing money for all these, um, and I don't really know much about Aaliyah Capital, but when you just think about somewhere like that, they're managing money for all these wealthy people. And so if they bring in their biggest investors and have Clove come on a conference call and basically deliver their sales pitch to them, I don't think that that's necessarily something that would end up in the news, or, like we would see something on our news ticker about it. There's probably other calls like this that happen with other institutions and hedge funds that we never even hear about. It's just this one happened to be leaked out, so we knew it was coming. But I don't know that we'll actually hear anything about it, or even that it happened or it didn't or whatever. But definitely, I think has the opportunity to be big for the stock. Um, let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna look at real quick. We'll kind of go through the scanner. So last week, actually, I should say, so anyone who's just joining or whatever, when the SPY started going down, and actually I want to bring that up right now, because we're seeing a dip, like this dip we're seeing with Clove right now, is kind of happening for a lot of stocks, and it does appear as though the SPY is starting to come back down. Hit as low as 438 this morning. Looks like it bounced off of there twice, and and I'm gonna go to the daily view too, because I talked about this on No Financial Limits last night. But we don't have the visuals when we're on there, if anybody caught us on there. But for me, one of the reasons I was looking for a correction in the market was, we saw this big drop kind of below. What I was looking for was, every time that we have these drops, we kind of come down and bottom out right around the top of the previous V, and that's been continuous in the SPY for a while. Well, even here, right at the top of the previous one, this one came a little bit below there, and that was like, for me, my signal. I went and bought some puts on the SPY. Got half of them out here for a nice profit. I actually got stopped out yesterday, or I think was it Friday? One of those days when it came back up and got above my. I think it was here when it got back to my break evens on the half that I kept. But it didn't continue higher yesterday. It didn't start to come back up, and now we're looking to open back up right now, way down here. So I'm starting to think that maybe this is going to fall a little bit further. I think for a correction, you're looking at somewhere around 10%. And if we take 10% off the high up here, we're basically looking at this thing falling to about 410, which we'd have to zoom out a lot. And we're talking about falling to like probably down here, if that was to happen. And that's why I took a lot of my positions in cash. Other than Clove and some other squeeze plays that I'm in, just because I feel like those are already at the bottom. But like even DraftKings, as bullish as I am on it, I got out, and it saved me some money on this. This was all during this like downturn in the SPY the last couple weeks. So I'll be looking to re-enter DraftKings for sure once I see this thing reverse, and put my money back into some other stocks that are maybe a little undervalued. But right now I'm still holding Clove, still holding some of the other ones, VIH, GameStop, some of the other squeeze plays that I'm into right now. I'm gonna write that down too, because there's one other squeeze play that I really am starting to like even more the more time goes by. But on the scanner today, actually, I wanted to show you guys kind of what I'm looking for on these scans. So like last week on Friday, CAPR was one that I got on. And just looking for opportunities to trade. I made some bad trades on Friday. I was looking for this right here. I jumped in, kind of rode it up, and got stopped out immediately. Jumped back in, rode it up, got stopped out. So I want to say it was more over here. I played this, and it was real choppy. Played this, it was choppy. I actually put on the Discord, like, all right, I got, 3 losses. I'm out for the day. And then later on, I came to my computer to check an email, and I was able to get in on this price action. And I got in and rode this up and made a little bit of profit back. Might have even been this one, but I know I jumped back in on CAPR one last time and got a little bit back. But not a good day trading on Friday for me. At least not compared to the rest of the week. But really, since I went cash, I'm just looking for opportunities to kind of jump in and out of some other stocks and day trade. It's just, if you're going to do that, make sure that you use stop losses for sure, or whether they be mental or something that you're setting. Protect yourself from the downside, because a lot of these big movers can turn on you quick. So today on the scan, Zevo was a name from Friday that we saw. This was a Friday scan right here. It came up huge off of, 340. It's kind of been continuing down since then into yesterday or into today's pre-market. And then it gapped back up. So I would imagine if we look at the daily view on this one, in terms of the long term, there's still a gap to fill down to here to 367. But potentially, if it went down and hit that, I might look for an entry point. Otherwise, I'm just going to look for trend reversals and look for when to get in and out of these things throughout the day. The other big one, I haven't seen ALF. That one's new. What's going on here? ALF partners with Vista Meteor to enable advertisers to purchase digital out of home. So that looks like they got some news, and they're starting to gap up by about 15%. Taking a look at the daily view on this one. Looks like we got a recent high at 22. Hasn't been trading very long either, just since May. And yeah, it's starting to gap up right now. It looks like it's trading at not too much. It's trading here right now. But this could be a real potential runner if it was to really get some legs and start moving today. Let's see what else there is first, but I'll write that one down. UVXY is one that we saw last week. I think this is a ETF. I usually don't like trading ETFs. I'm going to keep that one off. Ford. That's funny because I saw Ford on the social sentiment too. So this is the daily view right now. Ford doesn't typically move too much. In the past, this is more of like that blue chip stock that, so it looks like they're going to spend $11 billion to build Tennessee mega campus battery plants. Okay. Yeah. So, even there, it gapped up from 14 to 1472. Not a huge mover, and that's not going to really give us too much range, I don't think. So I'm going to probably stay away from Ford. So right now, just ALF and Zevo. And then I was looking at some other ones that came up on a different scanner earlier. And looks like SNOA was another big one. Ran up from $5.50 up to $9. So that's a 68% gap, or 68% gap up. And those are the ones that kind of will provide some opportunities, right? It's a relatively low float though, so this thing's gonna move with some really big candles. so at times, and that makes it hard when you got stop losses set and things like that. But I like this one. I'm gonna add this one in as one I want to watch as well. And then the last one that I saw on the scanner was FAMI. I really like this chart's action a little bit more. You know, it's kind of stair stepping up, only a 10% gap up. Looks like extends gains following Israel export contract. So this is moving on news. If we look at the daily view on this one, what I like that I was seeing earlier that's kind of interesting. This is a penny stock though, so it might move. But it's got a relatively large float, so this could be pretty nice. It's right now. Looks like it's trading at 26 cents. So it's right around here. If all of a sudden we can get above 29 or 30 today and see a breakout on this stock, I could really see this thing running up to fill the gap at least. And now you're talking, probably like a 60% run. You know, that's pretty intriguing in itself. And then there's even some previous gaps from way back here and over here that still have not been filled. So again, penny stock, but it's got a large float, which means that you getting in and out of it with high volume, even if you wanted to buy 10,000 shares or 20,000 shares, you're not going to move the stock much. And that's what I like about, if I was going to trade a penny stock like this, I'd want one with a lot of volume. If we look at like the candles on these right now, it looks like the volume coming in, 4 million in volume on this wick right here. 500,000 in volume here, 197,000. The reason that I want to look at that before I trade a penny stock is I want to make sure that, because if you're going to trade something that's trading for 23 cents, in order to make a decent move, you're going to want to get into that with a rather large position, and you don't want to be buying something with a low float where all of a sudden you jump in and buy 10,000 shares of it and you're moving the stock. You never want to be the market mover. You want to profit off that movement. But I really like FAMI today. That's probably one of the ones that I'll end up trading. So I don't want to look at too much else just because I kind of talked about this on Friday. When you start looking at too much, I really feel that's when if you're going to trade it, like day trade a stock and look to kind of jump in and out of one, you want to be watching it throughout the day and kind of get a feel for its movement. Like for me on Friday, I really didn't like the way that, I think it was, what was the stock that had written down for Friday? It wasn't MRIN. It was something else. But that was the MRM. I just didn't. It seemed like the price action was too choppy. I didn't like the way it was bouncing around, and so I ended up just cutting that one off my list. But it's just something that you got to get a feel for. The other, so in terms of other plays, I said I was going to talk about that a little bit, and then I'll get back to the chat. But obviously Clove. We can't stress that one enough, and that's where like my largest holding. VIH did pop up a little bit yesterday to 1030, but I'm really looking for some bigger movement here once we kind of get some news about it. I know that they have a conference call upcoming. Haven't seen any news since then. But I would imagine that after that call, we're going to hear some news about, let me throw Clove back up. We're going to hear some news about when the actual merger is going to take place, or the D-SPAC, where they actually become BAKKT. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of movement in the stock, and it's a relatively low float with a lot of open interest and a lot of short interest. And right now, you could buy this stock for what, 11 cents more than it's what it's worth. So it's got a really low downside. So this is one I'm looking at. And the last one, before I get back to the chat, that I'm really looking to, I just hate kind of like holding these plays overnight, but still ATER is really intriguing to me. It's kind of just been following this upward trend. And even though it's coming off of what, $3, so it's already at 4 times what it was trading at back in August. It still has, like, if we go to Ortex data on this one right now and take a look at what, the short interest and everything that's going on with this stock, at least what's being reported, there's so many squeeze plays out there, and we kind of rattled them all off last night on the no financial limits. But with this particular one, utilization's still high. Short interest is still in the 30% range, which is high. Cost to borrow is still high. This one seems like the most intriguing to me in terms of something that can move. But there's so many of them out there. And I really think, like, if you're looking for some good price action, if you kind of keep an eye on all of them, like SDC is one that's getting a lot of attention. IRNT, they've all given credit. I know BBIG started moving yesterday, but they've all been given good opportunities to kind of jump in and out of throughout the day to day trade. And that's kind of how I've been playing ATER for a while now. But this one probably is the most intriguing to me in terms of, like I said, I like that it's kind of just slowly kind of creeping up. It hasn't really fell back down. Something tells me that this thing isn't done running yet, especially when we look at the short interest and everything else with it. And then we go back to like February, and it's still got an all-time high of almost $49. So that's still kind of room for a 4 times move if it tries to get all the way back up there. Now, I don't know enough about the stock as to what happened with this, drawdown back here, but I know this is probably, like, even if you go look at Clove and some of the other, tech stocks and a lot of the stocks that were kind of overinflated at the beginning of the year, they all kind of got torn down. And maybe this thing just got so oversold, which you could see down here, that, it's just waiting to come back up. But there is a lot of short interest in it. So, I mean, I haven't started a position in ATER yet, but I'm really starting to, potentially look at it. RSI still trading above 50. I'm definitely going to be watching this one to day trade every day. It's been on my watch list. But if all of a sudden I see this thing break up, let's say above $16 and start moving, I may jump in with some shares and hold long just to see if it really starts to climb. All right, let me throw Clove back up here, and then I'm going to get to the chat right now. Michael says he's got some more dry powder, looking for that typical morning BS. Present Minds, good morning. Kamal says shares available are getting lower and lower. We're at the May 26th available shares number. Are you talking, I'm pretty sure you're talking Clove, but are you talking like iBorrowDesk shares available, or I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. So iBorrowDesk at 550. Ortex, I don't think shows us shares available. They just show us shares on loan. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. What is this 260% short interest on BBIG I keep seeing on Reddit and Twitter? BBIG. No clue. Ortex is showing it at 26, which is still high. Cost to borrow's at a 30. That's higher than a lot of other stocks. That's pretty high as well. And utilization's at 97. The one thing that scares me about BBIG is I think they got a merger or something that's right around the corner, right? And we saw kind of what happened with that. Pull up my news. There we go. So BBIG, I know it's coming up soon, and the one thing that scares me about that one, and I actually like the chart on that, and I really I know Ghost knows a lot more about that one than I do. I just got to be perfectly honest, but he's been talking about it a lot. And just when you look at what happened with SPRT and how it got absolutely wrecked after they did that merger and became GREE, it just kind of makes me want to wait and see, and then maybe jump in afterwards. Let's see. Naked. Okay. Yeah, Naked's another one that I've seen getting thrown around recently too. Junior says thoughts on CEI. I mean, I know that's like a popular one with Atlas Trading. And I know a lot of people that have been making some money on that stock right now. It just that's another one that scares me. I talk about how there's always money to be made in the market, right? And it's like I see it's hitting $3 right now, and a couple weeks ago, it was trading down here at 33 cents. It's just even when it was down here, I mean, I know a lot of people that were still entering, and to me, it's getting pumped so hard right now by so many people, like on FinTwit and everything else, that at some point, I would imagine you're going to see like a rug pull where, kind of the bigger players in there are going to be the first ones out, and they probably got the largest positions, and that's going to really knock this thing down. And so that's why I just, I feel like if you're going to be involved in one of those ones that, is just getting pumped so hard by a lot of these furus and everybody else on Twitter, you want to be in early and get out early. And who knows where this thing's gonna go now, but it's at $3. Previous high at 310 back in February. But that's again what intrigues me about ATER, right? ATER was sitting up here at like $50 almost in February, and it's getting pumped all the way back up. And I mean, that one still got 4 times room for growth. Now I'm saying this about CEI, and who knows? Once it passed this 310, it might rip up to $10. I have no idea, but it's already up so much that, I mean, it might give some opportunities in there to day trade, but I don't want to jump in and hold any right now. All right. Greg says, "What do you like about VIH?" The long-term potential with what they're doing with digital currencies and everything else is really intriguing to me. That's not what drew me to the play. What drew me to the play was really the open interest on the option chain. With such a relatively low float, like VIH right now, 20 million float, right? And when you look at the option chain on it, let me get Clove back up here. So when you're talking about a 20 million float, and let's see here, I'll pull over the option chain on this one. You got 12,000, basically a net differential of 4,000 contracts. That's 400,000 shares at the $10 strike. 1.6 million here at 1250. You start adding all this up, and that's just October. And then November, 1.3 million, 1.1, 1.5 here. February, same thing. I mean, this option chain has been getting loaded up. Not so much out here in May. Let's check January. No. 24. No. So, two things. One, we got low IV right now, ridiculously low IV for a stock that's, I think has the potential to move. This is usually considered high, but you have a catalyst coming short, pretty soon once they announce the merger. And usually when those things happen, you're going to get a little bit of excitement, momentum pushed into the stock. So for me, if, you go in and buy some options, maybe further out, like out in February or May or something like that, you could still get in right near this $10 strike price, or $11 strike price or somewhere like that. And, I would imagine that once the announcement comes, you're gonna see this stock start moving up. But when it does, it's got all this heavy open interest in the option chain, which should propel it further, even more further. And then it's got a lot of high short interest, which could propel it even higher too. So I think that there's a little squeeze coming in VIH soon. My anticipation would be once they make the announcement of when the date is, like if they come out and say, all right, we're going to do this merger on, November 1st or December 1st. Once that announcement's made, you're going to see people jumping into the stock. You'll see the stock rally. But that's when you want to get out. You don't want to hold it until. And then the other thing that I like about it is really where it's trading at right now. It's at $10.11. So if you look at all the stocks that have high short interest and everything else, one, they all got high IV. Two, you don't really know where the bottom is on them, right? Like even with ATER, after everything I was just talking about it, this thing could easily fall back down to $3. And now you just, you're taking a 75% loss. But if you want to put your money in one and just hold it, this may not have the volume momentum and everything going for it right now. But I still think that it's, the bottom on this as of right now is $10. So, you buy today, you can only lose 11 cents. And it's just with the way the markets are going right now and everything else, like if I was going to park my money somewhere, I'd rather park it in something like that where there's very limited downside, but it has potential for a big upside. Scotty's in the house. Shrimply, what's up? VIH Apollo Management acquired $1.2 million. SEC filing on September 24th. Can you explain their intention before the October 14th merge meeting? Yeah, I think let me pull up. I could pull up FINTEL real quick, and we'll see what we can see there. But from what it sounds like, from what you're saying, is so an institution came in and bought some shares. Let's see here. You're going all the way back. Yeah. I don't see anything here at least. I might just be tired though and not reading your question correctly. I'm sorry. I'll have to look. I'm gonna write that down and check it out because it's still early for me. So I just wrote down the question and I'll try to look into it a little bit more. TMC or SDC? That's another one. TMC's one that I haven't looked at in a while. But that's, there's just so many that have been popping lately, and they really give some opportunities in here. See, so like with TMC, it's trading down right now, It was, if we look back, it was trading in this $10 range for so long, and now it fell all the way to 5. Um, it's not showing oversold on the RSI, but I would imagine, being down here is going to give a lot of room to kind of keep moving upwards. But at the same time, I don't know where the bottom is on this stock, right? So, it's kind of trading in uncharted territory, and who knows how low it can go before it turns around. I mean, I guess the same can be said for any stock, but it's just, I just don't know if I would want to hold down here right now. Trying to look up the short interest on that. I know cost to borrow on TMC right now is somewhere around, looks like 46%, but my Ortex is tripping. It's not even pulling it up. SDC, on the other hand, I know that's Smile Direct Club, and that's actually been getting the most. This is another one that, I mean, it's only up, what, 20% off of, that's just quick math for me or whatever, but I would say that's probably about, maybe a little bit more, 30% or so off this low here in August. And so it's not like you're jumping into something that's already up, 200% growth or something like that. And again, back here in January, highs of 16. I know SDC has been getting a lot of talk, like on Wall Street Bets and everywhere else. And then we come in and look at the short interest on this one, and it's what, 56% free float on loan, 44% short interest. Cost to borrow still kind of low. I think it's at 13%. Just low in comparison to some of the other ones, but 97% utilization. So I would say SDC is another one that I would feel more comfortable holding this one than holding some of the others, just because of where it's at. And like, let's say you were to jump into this and hold it overnight and all of a sudden it falls, I would imagine that it's going to stop somewhere around here and give you an exit point. So that's the only thing that I get afraid of is, like, pre-market and after hours and stuff. If you're not sitting there watching, at least with my broker, I can't do a stop loss in after hours. They only trigger in during market hours. So then that means you got to just set alerts and kind of be on your toes in case you start seeing the thing moving. But yeah, I mean, this one definitely looks intriguing too from a short squeeze standpoint. FINTEL, 150,000 shares available only. What are the implications for Clove? Well, it's kind of like one of those things where, like, that's only 150,000 shares available from one broker, what they're reporting there. So, and then you got Ortex on the other hand is reporting from other brokers. So we're never really going to get a full picture. I mean, I've seen days where, like, FINTEL or iBorrowDesk has shown, 0 shares available, and that didn't even mean anything. But it's supposed to be an indication. It's supposed to give us an idea of how many shares are out there, because if, FINTEL only has 150,000 available, then you could maybe imagine that, okay, all these other brokers are probably getting down lower, especially because in the past, we've seen them with 3 million shares available. But, the other thing about share availability is, not only can that change with what lenders are actually, willing to lend out or whatever, but also, or what's being borrowed by shorts, I guess I should say, but also that, the amount of shares available can change on a daily basis too. Like, Moto, you might be willing to lend your shares out today, and then next week you're like, you know what, I don't want to lend my shares out anymore, and you call your broker and get your shares back or take them off the table, and now that can affect how many are available as well. You also can have shorts who borrowed the shares and return them without using them. So there's so much that goes into it that but don't get me wrong. When you start seeing less shares available, it could mean that maybe there's less firepower out there. But like I said, I mean, we've been watching the stock now for me at least probably almost 6 months now, and I've seen days where we're on SSR and we just still get hammered hard. We've seen days where there should be no shares available and we still get hammered hard. So I think what really is going to make a difference is when all of a sudden we start to see that, like, the street is like analyst upgrade, something like that, where all of a sudden Wall Street is looking at this stock as, from the technology side or even from the health insurance side, but seeing this as a profitable company, and you start to see that momentum coming in to where shorts are just getting buried and they have to get out because they're gonna, they're kind of getting trapped in there. Nice. Gennady said took CEI at 80, added at $1.50, out at 275. I love it. Let's see here. Stock Hunter, what's up? Good morning. Jesus. Hey Tommy, I'm gonna have to put you on let me see here. Might need to get a couple more mods in here. Where's Michael at? Sorry guys, I got behind in the chat and I just seen that, but Jesus. Yeah, Michael, I thought you already were a mod. There we go. Let's see here. Someone likes ATER. There we go. Someone said TMS, typical morning spam. Star said, Coach, I just had to scroll through all Tommy's spam. Coach, not sure what happened to yesterday's morning stream, but don't worry. We all just assumed a short seller showed up on your front door and you were busy. I'd said it earlier when I first signed on, but I had a late night at the Niner game. We got home super late, and it was just by the time I kind of got up, and I actually woke up early. I set an alarm. I got up at like 4, went and made some coffee, sat down here at the desk, and it was just like, I was just like, you know what, I need some sleep. And so I sent a message out on the community tab on the channel, and just to let everyone know, like, hey, I just can't do it today. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even look at the market yesterday. I slept. I got up like maybe half hour before I had to get to work, took a shower, got out of the house. And then I was, extremely busy at work. And so I never even opened my portfolio yesterday. And I knew Clove was green and everything, but I'm not selling down here at this price. So no trading for me or nothing. I just kind of took the day off, and it was actually kind of nice. That's true. Noir says we did the NFL thing in the afternoon. Yeah, and anyone who hasn't checked it out, I mean, it's a lot of fun. Myself and Ghost kind of started this show, and it's like half stocks, half NFL. We'll talk like football and stuff, and I've been having a lot of fun doing it. I've really been having a blast. But we've been doing it every Monday night before the Monday Night Football game. I'm not doing too well with my picks. I started off the year picking 5-3, and then I think I went 4-4 the week before, and then I think I went 3-5 this week. So not doing too good at all. But I'm thinking I'll make a comeback this week. Yeah, Big Nate, I'll throw you in there too. I just seen you said that. Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking, down. You guys that come in here all the time. If you're interested in being a mod, just ask. I'll throw you on there. Really, it's just for occasionally when something like that happens. And that time it just happened while I'm sitting there, way behind in the chat. Cuckoo Bird says there's a new sheriff in town. Josh says, does anyone know about Clove in your workplace? Yeah, what's funny is I've actually had some other teachers and stuff run into me and tell me that they saw you on saw the YouTube channel and and that sort of thing. And so but there's a lot of people, you'd be surprised, like not even with the YouTube channel. Like I ran into some, friends that have been invested in Clove for a long time, and then it's funny because I was talking to him the other night, and he called me, and he's like, "Man, what's up, Coach B?" And he's like, "Dude, I've seen, I've been in the Clove subreddit for so long, and I've been invested for over a year or whatever it was." And he's like, and I always used to see this coach guy and this and that. He's like, I watch out trades, I watch this guy, I watch that guy. And he's like, and I always saw this coach guy and I never clicked on it. He's like, then I clicked on it and it was you, and it was just funny because it's like, man, I told him, like, yeah, I've been doing this for a while now. I just, whatever. But anyways, there was that story, and then just other friends that I have that have hit me up because they've come across the channel, or even, and again, not people that like bought in, people that have been invested for a long time, that I never knew were in Clove, and they didn't know I was in Clove, but I think a lot of people do know about it. Especially since back when it was still a SPAC, that got people that bought into this, with the intention of, holding long term into triple digits. And so while all of like the squeeze talk and everything else is fun, it's at the same time, if we don't get a squeeze, we're gonna eventually stair step our way up to $100. I really think so. We might be holding for a lot longer, but I mean, from $8 to $100, I mean, to $100 or something like that. I mean, where are you going to get those gains in the market without playing, options, or, taking risks, jumping into a lot of these other squeeze plays? Mod? Damn, Scotty, I thought you were a mod too. There we go. Big Nate. My mom does Medicare billing for Duke hospitals here in North Carolina. She knows about Clove and she asks when Lambo. I love it. Let's see here. All right, Scotty, I just made you a mod too. I didn't know that you weren't one. I just thought you were since the beginning. There we go. All right. So what time where we at right now? 5:55. I just realized I didn't even have. I'll put Clove back up here on the big one. I don't even know if I'm actually gonna day trade today, but some of the ones that I was looking at, for anyone who's joining late, was Alf, is on my watch list today. Zevo was the other one. All these look like they're gapping up right now. SNOA, again, another one that's gapping up. But the one I'm probably going, if I'm gonna watch one today, I think it's gonna be this FAMI. Just because, again, a lot riskier with dealing with the penny stock and everything. But I really liked that daily chart, and I really like the potential on here for a gap fill up if we were to see it and see this thing like maybe pop, and who knows. But we got a pretty significant gap right here, and so that may be one that I look to trade this morning. And then Big Nate saying TRIP. What's going on there? 36.20. And it's gapping down right now. Let's see. Well, a lot of stuff is, but or maybe you're talking Trip from a long-term perspective, because I don't really see any volume or anything going on here. Let's see. I'm going to leave FAMI up here right now. Like I said, this is one that if I was going to pick one to watch, especially because I'm going to be, working and a lot busier today, I think I'm going to watch this one. And obviously ATER is going to kind of stay on my watch list because I really like this as a long-term play, even though I'm not holding any position in ATER right now. Yeah, Michael, man, I need to get that thermos. I still have some coffee in here. I got the tall cup today, so I made two cups in here. But Michael said, I think God, this was probably like 3 months ago. He was like, we were talking about coffee and how I run out like right in the middle of the stream, and it's a great idea. I just never followed through with it. He said, go buy a thermos, fill it up, and then you can just keep pouring coffee all day. And I really should, because then I'll probably just take it to work with me too. Just put like a whole pot of coffee in there and then just kind of like pour out of it all day. I never followed through with it. I'm gonna have to. Maybe I'll get one for Christmas. I'll tell my wife, and she could. Oh man, but yeah, no, that's a great idea. I really need to do it. Midwest Tom says, "Thank you for continuing to stream during these stagnant days." No problem. I mean, to be honest with you, I started streaming before the June run up, and it wasn't like, I didn't even expect it to take off like it did. It wasn't like I started streaming because, this thing's going to squeeze tomorrow or whatever. I just figured if I'm going to sit here, I was off work at the time, and it's like, if I'm going to sit here and, be watching stocks anyways, let's see if anybody jumps on. Well, a good friend of mine is the one that kind of like pushed me to do it. He's like, man, you're home anyways, just do it. Because I was already making videos about Clove and about some other stocks and everything else. And I had so much fun doing it that I just continued to. And, even after Clove takes off and we talked a little bit about this last night on that No Financial Limits show. Ghost and I did, but it's like, long term, I don't want to sell this stock till triple digits. So if it ends up being like a slow stair-stepping growth up, I'll be holding this stock forever. If we see a squeeze, then there's the trader in me that's going to want to sell near the top or try to time the top and get out. And then I'll just jump back in on this. But regardless, I'm always going to be, as long as people are coming in here and watching, I'm having fun doing it. I'll keep doing the stream every morning, because it's fun, and I think like once some of these plays pay off, like a Clove, Um, and everybody's able to cash out and takes, or at least just take some profits near the top and everything else. Then we'll just start hunting for the next big, you know, over or undervalued stock and continue to move around. But no, I'm having fun, and I appreciate you guys coming on here and watching every morning. I really do. And I look forward to it. That's one of the reasons. Like yesterday, it killed me not to stream. Um, it was just because I really look forward to coming in here. It kind of helps me wake up in the morning when I get done here. Go see the kids off to school and stuff, and then I head to work myself, and it's just you know, it's just become part of my morning routine now. Let's see. Kevin Lynch says Clove gap fill up. Yeah, so I mean, it probably will. I would imagine we'll go up and hit 810. I don't think that, you know, I don't think this is like shorts attacking the stock or anything like that. I mean, this is absolutely the market. Go look at any stock right now. And here's what we're seeing. The S&P is on its way back down, and we're sitting here at 438. And so it drug a bunch of stuff down with it. We've seen this so many times now. If the market starts rallying back today, we'll likely see Clove start popping if all of a sudden. But then that doesn't mean, because I mean, we've seen days where the market is blood red and Clove continues to move up. And I think it's just because Clove's in such an oversold state right now. So there's not much downside in there. A huge Gatorade dispenser full of coffee. That would be awesome. You just kind of sit it here. I wouldn't drink it all though. Chef Daddy's in the house. What's up? Wesley says, what programs are you using to look at the tickers? So I'm probably gonna end up. I know anyone who's been on here for long enough knows I've like switched software so many times. So this one right here is Thinkorswim, but this is a separate software. Like you can see here, there's a software behind it. So I'm using Thinkorswim. This is what I always like started day trading with and started like learning. This is a software that's through TD Ameritrade, and it's actually pretty damn amazing. And I love their mobile app too. Um, you know, and kind of the biggest thing for anyone who's still learning, they've got this on demand button up here. I don't know if you can see that right now, but it's right here. And you could like pick any day and go back and paper trade it, which is awesome. So you could like say, oh, I want to try to day trade GameStop, back on the January run up, and just go back and just play around with it. And you could do options, all that kind of stuff. It's really a powerful software. And then this one back here is Street Smart Edge, which is Charles Schwab's. I have accounts with both, and I've really been doing a lot of like options trading here on Street Smart Edge. I like it a lot better. And then my investment account is in Thinkorswim. So I just have them both open. I'm used to the charting more on Thinkorswim, but I'm really starting to love all the other features and just the depth of information that Schwab provides. So I'm slowly kind of like making the shift to where I'm probably not going to open this Thinkorswim app ever again. I'll just do the investments on the mobile side on my cell phone. TMC, yeah. I saw that TMC was popping out of the corner of my eye a little while ago. Looks like within the last 5 minutes, it got a huge little pump here. What was that? Yeah, about 5 minutes ago. If we pull up the news on it, the metals company advances deep sea research program to unlock world's largest known source of battery metals. Okay. So yeah, so it's moving a little bit right now. And some news like that could serve as the catalyst to really get this thing moving, right? Like it's trading down here right now. I don't know what their option chain or anything else looks like. I haven't taken a look at it this morning. IV's kind of still through the roof. The float on TMC I know is ridiculously small from what I remember. 30 million. That'd definitely be one worth watching today for sure. Let's see. Go back, pull Clove up over here. You know what? I'll put TMC down here instead of VIH. VIH hasn't been doing enough to warrant leaving it the ticker up. We'll leave TMC up right now. Thomas, what's up? Good morning. 7-leaf clover, what's going on? Skip C's in the house. Louis. Noir says catch up with the chat. And I can't help it. I can't help it. Chef Daddy. USWS. Oil bottom play. Twitter's on it. Still hasn't grown up yet. Definitely risk, but possibly the next CEI. USWS. I just wrote that one down. Starting to move right now. Damn, that chart looks a lot like Clove's. Huh. This is back in February instead of June, but it just looks like it's kind of trading in that same or maybe it's kind of consolidating and waiting for a pop. But I mean, shit, it's opening up. It's looking to open up at 80 right now. Looks like this is at what, $1.60. That'll serve as like a major resistance level somewhere around there. I'm intrigued. I like it. Thomas says I keep jumping in VIH, then out an hour later, no movement. Yeah, no, I don't think VIH is one that you want to like day trade, so to speak. It's just one where I kind of look at it like parking money at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's so close to NAV right now that even if you're wrong, you're getting into a stock at $10.11. The downside's 11 cents. The upside, who knows? But that's just kind of what I'm looking at in regards to that. Is like, there's not a huge downside, and so especially with the volatility and kind of turbulence in the market right now, and kind of the uncertainty, for me at least, within the next kind of couple of weeks, I want to see where the SPY goes and what's going to happen with it. And it seems like VIH is kind of at its bottom. So if I could throw some cash in there, and it's got high short interest, and it's got relatively low float with a pretty loaded option chain in the coming months, kind of has the potential to maybe have some explosive movement. And if it doesn't, and something else comes along, you're not, then I'll kind of just take that money out and throw it into something else. That's what I'm looking at with VIH at least. What's up, Dan? What's going on? Anyone mention the LAUR special dividend play yet? No. Is that I don't know anything about that. But I've been busier than hell all weekend, so I haven't really looked nothing up. Is that what's going on with that one? Let's see here. I'm just gonna pull this back up. Dan says $7 special dividend for October 6th. Play the run up and get out before the 6th. Yeah. So let me see here. Let's pull that one back up. So $7 dividend. The only problem is how high it's running up right now, but yeah, I mean, so if you potentially you buy this stock, and again, I haven't read any news or whatever, but based on what you're saying, you buy this stock right now. Let's say it's trading at $18. I think in after hours it's at $17.89. You're gonna get a dividend back for $7. So if you think about that, and really in order to get that dividend, you just have to hold it until October 6th, is based on what I'm reading from you. So for 2 weeks. That kind of protects your downside, right? Because that means if I buy this stock right now for $18, it could drop all the way down to 11, and it's still a profitable trade for me. But like Dan's saying, which is pretty smart, if all of a sudden this thing starts running up, just get out before the dividend date, because you're probably going to look at other people starting to sell off before then as well. So I like that play. When did they announce it? Looks like on September 21st. All right, there's another one to put on my list right now to kind of look into a little bit more. All right, let's see. Rick says, "Can you explain how the downside is $10? I think I understand, but once it merges, can the new stop drop below 10?" Yeah, no, it absolutely can. It's just, like, so with these SPACs, they come in at $10. Um, their special acquisition company. Their whole thing is to find a company to merge with. They get pipe investors and everything else, and you know from a company standpoint, on both sides, neither one of them is going to actually do this merger if they feel like the stock price is going to drop down from 10. Usually when they do these mergers and put these things together, they might have a initial target price of 12 or 13, 24, maybe even $10. But no one's going to come in and do a merger that's going to put it in a right off the gates and put their investors in a losing situation. So, there's that standpoint. But yeah, anything can happen. I mean, just like with any stock, I think Clove's worth a lot more than $8, and it's been hammered down to that. So anything can happen. But typically, what I've seen in the past is there's two times when these SPACs start moving. One is when they announce who they're merging with. So like back when it was announced that VIH was merging with BAKKT, you're going to see a lot of price action then, because everybody wants to get in on the hype. Then it levels back out or gets shorted down or whatever happens to the stock. Well, then, the second time that you're going to see a lot of momentum pour into the stock is when they actually announce their merger date, right? Because it's been announced for a long time that these two are merging, but no one knows when it's going to take place. Well, they have this meeting coming up shortly, a merger meeting. I would imagine that coming out of that meeting, we're going to find out when the date that they're doing it is. And that's kind of what the play is for me, is just banking on that we're going to see some movement off of that. if we don't see any movement after that, I'll probably end up bailing out too, because it's not really, there's so many other plays in the market right now. Undervalued stocks that I think have the potential for long-term growth that I would rather have my money in. But if we do see some high volatility and some upward movement, when that happens, then I think we'll start to see some movement in the option chain, and potentially a little bit of short squeeze action too. And it's so close that I feel like, why not just hold through this and see what happens. Thomas says the aftermarket volume since 6 a.m. on Clove is below 5,000. Huh. Yeah. No shit. Look, 100, 300. Looks like on the day so far, 262,000. Most of that coming from these big candles back here, 12,000. Big Nate says last dividend special I got into, I got burned by holding after the X date. Yeah, you don't really want to. It's kind of like a sell the news type thing, you always want to play the run-ups, and I know I was talking about that even with DraftKings. Like my play with DraftKings, even though I ended up getting out right now because of the way the market's been reacting lately, I'm gonna get back in DraftKings, and my play with DraftKings is I think that their February earnings is going to be their best earnings yet, but I'm not gonna hold into their February earnings. I'm gonna buy it and sell my shares off before earnings come, because what's going to happen is everybody else is also buying into this stock for February earnings. So once it's going to become overvalued and worth more than the stock's going to be trading at more than what the company's worth. And that's when they pull the rug, right? Now all of a sudden earnings come out, earnings are great, and then the stock's going to drop down and everyone's going to be like, what the hell? They had great earnings. Why is it dropping? It's because everybody bought in, wrote it up, and took their profits out beforehand. Let's see here. Again, kind of like that sell the news analogy. Like with Torch, merged with MAP, my $10 Torch price when the new value was 3. Yeah, I don't think, was Torch a SPAC though? I don't know if it was. I don't know enough about that one, but same type of deal. And I mean, and that's like what just happened with SPRT too, right? Like, I feel like with a lot of these SPACs, you don't want to be holding into the merger, but if you can get involved in that price action beforehand, that's what you want to do. I mean, to me, Lucid was like the biggest rug pull ever. That let's see, Rick. If I hold my call through the merger date on VIH and I want to exercise it, are the shares I get the new shares? Yeah. So whether it be shares or options, because it's just a SPAC and all they're doing is just basically they're just going to change the ticker name, and now the company is one company. It'll just roll over. So what'll happen is any options contract you have will just roll over to the new one. Any shares you have will roll over to the new one. And they even do that even when it's not a SPAC moving over. Like there's been times where I've had options in a two companies that merged, and if they do like some sort of weird share split where like, because mergers aren't always straight across. You could have company A merging with company B, and now if you own shares of company A, you're getting like 3-to-1 shares, and so when something like that happens, if you're holding shares, let's say you have 100 shares, you're going to end up with 300 of the new company. It could also work in the opposite. If you had 300 shares of the company and it merges, now you're going to end up with 100. It just depends on the deal and how it works out. But the same exact thing happens on the option chain. So there was a time where it was something similar to that, where when it became the new ticker and it rolled over, because of the way it merged, my options contract was only worth, where like normally an options contract is worth 100 shares. Well, in this instance, it was only worth like 0.33 share, or 33 shares or whatever it may be. So it was a little weird, but you'll still have the opportunity to exercise it. But in the case of VIH, typically with SPACs, it's just a ticker change. Everything else will stay the same. You'll still have your options contract, you'll still have your shares, whatever you have, and it'll go like in a 1-for-1 scenario. Looks like Clove starting to pop a little bit right now. Thoughts on IRNT? Yeah, I mean, I've been watching that one. I actually played IRNT. I think, was it Friday? I don't remember, but just that cost to borrow is so crazy that it's like, and it's been trading with that high cost to borrow for quite some time now. I know, like, Degenerate pointed it out in the chat here, I think like 2 weeks ago. Like, hey, go check out the cost to borrow on IRNT, and I'll pull it up again right now. But you're talking about a stock with even though the short interest is saying it's only 8.5, 100% utilization. Cost to borrow right now, it's not showing, but today, as of this morning, 671% cost to borrow. That's just crazy. People are still paying it. Let's see here. So it looks like we're getting near the open right now. We got about 8 minutes. Clove is down 10 cents off of yesterday's close. But the entire market kind of came down this morning a little bit with the SPY, but it looks like the SPY actually came back. So it closed yesterday at 442, hit a low this morning of, somewhere in that 438 range. And now it's moving back upwards to about 440.05. So it's still got a little bit of a gap to come back up and fill if that's what it's going to do. Some of the more familiar names that haven't really been moving much lately. AMC right now trading around $38. That's down off of the close of 39 yesterday. GameStop at 187 with looks like zero volume right now. Not really zero, but there's not a lot of volume in it. It closed yesterday at 189. All right. Ghost is in the house. What's up? What's going on? Dan says only a 43.38 million free float on IRNT. Yeah, I mean, that it's just, I'm really intrigued by what's going on there with that one, just because of that high cost to borrow. I think, no, we pulled up ATER earlier, but if we look at IRNT, I mean, it's been a great one to day trade too. I didn't yesterday, but I mean, it's got a huge range. The daily range on this thing from 2360 to 2660. That's $3 on. Shit, that's more than 10%. Throughout the day, and then so that gives you opportunities to kind of get in and out and stick and move, and play some of these things. Had I been trading yesterday, that this is like my buy signal right here. When we get this crossover, there would have been some good opportunities in there. But looking at the daily chart here, I want to say this stock was upwards of 60 not too long ago, 47.50. Who knows? I mean, it kind of seems to be holding here. Man, there's just so many plays right now, and that's what we were talking about earlier. It's just kind of like keeping them on your watch list if you have the ability to look at a couple, because once you see one moving, and the volume picking up, it's like you almost don't even need to be scanning the markets right now because there's so many of these plays. You got your SDC, your IRNT, ATER. All of these have had such a huge range throughout the day, every day now, that there's really some great opportunities for to kind of get in and out. Let's see here. Even though we were up on balance volume, and I've held these options for a while, so it wasn't like it was a day trade. Low volume since 9 a.m. Yeah, the volume kind of, I don't know. I mean, volume on Clove so far this morning is at 277,000, but yeah, not a ton. Oppenheimer just gave LILM a $24 price target. It's currently at 1060. Highly shorted D-SPAC. Okay. When the hell are we going to get our Clove price target? Let's see here. Yeah, my phone is going crazy right now. Just make sure I'm not missing out on any news. All right. So pulling up Ortex data on LILM, it looks like utilization's somewhat low right now. And I know that this short interest wouldn't be, these D-SPACs have been kind of weird if you're talking about like with warrant redemptions and everything. So not sure what the actual short interest is on that. Looks like exchange reported short interest was 1.65 million. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that one. Thanks for the heads up. All right, looks like we're 2 minutes from the bell. And where we at with Clove? Still kind of trading right around this $8 mark. I would love to see this stock just kind of slowly give us just slowly keep kind of climbing up. I haven't even looked to see what maximum pain's at this week. Like I said, I didn't look at anything yesterday at all. My guess would be it's 8. Yeah, looks like we're right there at $8 still. And then while we're at it, waiting for the open here, I'm also going to pull up bar chart and just see where we've been at, or at least where we were at yesterday with the short interest and all that kind of stuff. Oh, why isn't my bar chart working? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm looking up chart exchange. My bad. So it looks like yesterday dark pool volume on Clove was 41%. Just more of the same. We've seen it in the 40s now for 40s and 50s. There's only, I think, 1 day or 2 days in the last like 3 weeks that hasn't been above 40% at least in the dark pool. And then short volume on Friday, 61%. That stuff isn't sustainable. I know I keep saying it, and it probably sound like a broken record, but they can't do that forever. And I really, at this point, I'm thinking that, we talked about a little bit about this the other day, but I really think with Clove, what we need is either wait until Q3 and kind of see where the revenue growth is again, and that may end up inviting some analyst upgrades, or analysts might end up coming out with some upgrades even beforehand. But it's going to take something like that, or just something to happen on the technology side, partnerships with other health insurance companies to get the Clover AI used there, or something big that gets the company seen as a technology company. Or again, I think Q3 might be pretty big as well. So also right now, coming up in October is when the new star ratings come out. And that could be huge. So there's a lot of potential catalysts, but I think we may be waiting for one if we're looking for explosive movement. Otherwise, I could see this thing just kind of stair-stepping its way up too, and maybe making some nice, steady, slow growth. But I don't see us down here for too much longer. I think this stock is ready to get off this floor, get off the $8 mark, and start trading back in the teens, and start working its way up to where it should be valued at. Ross Lowe got the blue badge for being a second month member. That's awesome. I don't know how that let me see. I got to go over to the other side to see how it looks, because right now through my software I can't see that stuff. But I see Ross Lowe with the blue badge. Who else has a blue badge? I think Big Nate's got one right now. Skip's got a blue one. Nice. I like it. Josh Stewart, what's up? Good morning. Thomas says something about the spread on level 2 for Clove. Right now, I know I'm behind, but right now it's 796 and 797. But yeah, 2 cents when it starts widening like that. Usually that happens when you have low volume. Same thing with these kind of like large candles that are spanning 803 to 794 in a 1 minute candle. That's a pretty, significant. That's a 9-cent candle in 1 minute, and it just keeps going back and forth. And usually that'll come with low volume, right? Because someone can come in and purchase and hammer through this on the level 2 and get us all the way up to 801. And then someone else comes in and sells or shorts and hammers through all this and gets us back down to 790, and it'll just keep kind of banging through there on low volume. That's why, on low volume days, when all of a sudden some big buys come in, you could really see some explosive movement. When volume starts drying up and the bid ask gets so wide. RKLY was a perfect example of that a couple of days ago when that thing really took off. I mean, there was like no volume, and every time a buy came in, it was moving the stock up like 10 cents, 20 cents at a time. On a similarly priced stock, it's sitting at 817 right now. GameStop's got a pretty big candle right now. Looks like up about $2. Same thing with ATER. Looks like maybe it's starting to move. And IRNT. Yeah, so we're getting a little bit of movement this morning. Let's see, Chef Daddy's got green. Well, I think the way it works, Chef Daddy, I don't know. I just, Ross Lowe pointed it out. So I think it just depends on the day you signed up. So like, if Ross Lowe signed up 2 days before you, then he's gonna get his badge changed or whatever 2 days before. I think that's how it works. So it may be like 30 days from when you sign up, every 30 days or something along those lines. But that's still pretty cool and awesome to kind of see that that's how that thing changes and how the badge colors change, for the different thing. I like it. That also just reminds me that I got to get off my ass and finish doing some of the other perks and stuff that we talked about on here. So FAMY or FAMI is actually, starting to break out here, and this would be one of, kind of in my buy signal range if I was day trading it right now. We got the 9 crossing above the 20, both crossing above the 50 SMA, and it's breaking out above above VWAP. This is definitely kind of a bullish signal here, from a day trading standpoint. If I was going to get in here, especially now that it's bouncing off VWAP, this would be somewhere that I'd be looking to enter into at. I'm not trading it today, at least not right now. I tried doing that before while I'm streaming. It's just too damn hard. But this one's probably the most intriguing to me this morning. This FAMI, it looks like it's got a lot of room to run. And I like the volume where it's at right now. But where we at right now? 637. Just looking around, see what else is going on here in the market. This Clove is way too damn choppy to be watching a 1 minute right now. I'm gonna switch this over to 5 minute. These candles are crazy. Yeah, that was like too much, looking like a barcode just going up and down. Some of the other ones that I put on the watch list this morning, let me just take a look. So I know there was ALF was one. That one looks like it's ready to go too. Zevo looks like it might be coming down to fill that gap back down to 4. And I think if I remember correctly from what we talked about earlier, I want to say there's even a bigger gap below that. And then SNOA, already up 53%, gapped up tremendously yesterday. But I think this is going to provide a nice range in here today too. What can we do as a follower to help get Coach B to 2,000 subs? Yeah, I know. I've been trade like in this 1,900 range for quite some time. I think the last time I looked, I was like at 1970. So I need like 30 more or something like that. I might be a little bit higher now, but that'll definitely be another milestone to kind of, getting to 1,000 was kind of big, and I think that was like 2 months ago or something, and it's just been slowly growing. But I'm almost there. I'm almost at 2,000. Danny Did It says PALT for day trade today. Let's check it out. PALT looks like it's moving off a gap down too. So yeah, I don't know if I would enter right this second. My entry signal would have been somewhere around here. So I wouldn't go chasing now. But, as this thing continues to fall down, I'd maybe look for put in a limit order here at 471 and see if I can get filled and come back up. And there it goes, coming down. But I like it. And then the other one you said for long-term gains, VGGIF. I'm going to write that down on my list today. I got a couple that I want to look at later. USWS, LAUR, and VGGIF, which is ones that some of you guys kind of called out today in the chat. And so those will be some ones that I'll take a look at later on. Dan said do a stream where you can ignore the chat and just do your day trading. Just talk out loud while doing it. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I'm also, the other reason too is like now that I've been back at work and stuff, it's funny because I've been getting more into day trading just because of the way the markets are, and I wanted to take a lot of my cash off the table, but I can't day trade at work. It's too hard. So I picked one stock like FAMI, and if I find like an entry point, later on today when I have the free time and I could get in, cool. But I just got to be way more patient when I'm not at home, I don't want to force myself into something and then get stuck in a position because I don't have time to watch it. But there's been some great opportunities lately with all this volatility to really jump in and out of some of these stocks. And just looking to capitalize on that wherever I can. So Clove looks like down about 3% right now. All right, Scotty, have a good one, man. I'm actually going to head out here in a couple minutes with myself. But Clove, not looking so hot early. I would imagine we're going to bounce back a little. It does look like, again, we talked about this earlier, but the SPY is down to 439. So that's down 0.78%, which is almost a full percentage point. That's $3.50. And that's pretty significant. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the market down right now. IRNT, on the other hand, though, is not down. It's ripping right now. Up about 80 cents right now on the day at 26.74. ATER's down on the day, but looks to be going green right now. And GameStop is the other one. Currently at 190.70. Only up $1.22. But again, the market's going down, and I'm just looking at stocks that, are not being drugged down with it. And GameStop seems to be one of them. It really looks like it's popping right now. I'm just going to pull that up real quick before I sign off. But, yeah, I mean, just a second ago, it was up here, pushing 191. Not a lot of volume on GameStop, though. It really hasn't been trading with volume for quite some time now. Volume on the day on GameStop right now, 136,000. So not a lot in there. But it is a more expensive stock. There we go. Put Clove back up. Morning all. Been lying down, dealing with eviction stress and not being able to focus on stocks. All good, Gloria. Thanks for coming in here and joining us. Really appreciate it. Hope everything works out and your day gets better. All right, everybody. So it's almost 6:45. I'm gonna go finish getting my kids ready, just kind of see them off, and then get to work myself. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate it. Sorry about yesterday. I won't let it happen again, or at least not anytime soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning if you come back on here. Thank you again for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. See you tomorrow.